Her eyes widened as another thud echoed from the wall, from a spot further down the window. Another just near the door. 4 more thuds racked at Twilight's brain, adrenaline coursing through her veins. And then all went quiet. Nothing moved. Nothing breathed. And then Katie whispered, "Twilight." A hoof smashed through the escape window, flailing about as the snarling and screeches of an afflicted rang in Twilight's ears. "Katie, run! Up the stairs!" Twilight screamed. Another set of hoofs smashed through the window by the front door. Katie squealed, running up the library stairs as Twilight ran to the kitchen, illuminating her horn with magic. Magic, the flow of energy that greeted her like an old friend, warming her cold, panicked body with lush heat and power. She had almost forgotten how it had all felt like, and with her sanctuary finally discovered, she couldn't care less about the magic detection or not anymore. With her horn aglow, she opened her knife drawer, levitating 10 different blades of sharp and deadly angles upward, creating a sort of ring around her. She ran back to the main floor, watching as her head through the escape window, snarling at her. Twilight narrowed her eyes, aiming her horn forward and launching one of the knives toward her deadly foe. The knife struck home, lodging itself in its red, bloody eye, causing it to fall backwards with a loud thud. She stared towards the open window in terror, seeing more shapes moving just beyond the entrance. The afflicted were attacking her at night. A shriek echoed from above, causing her to look up and shout, "Katie! Katie, what's wrong?" "Pegasus! Pegasus!" is all that Katie screamed back, squealing as the sounds of boards splintering reached her ears. Swearing, Twilight bounded up the library stairs, taking a moment to launch 2 knives towards some afflicted, wrenching their way past the boards. She raced upwards, gasping as she saw it ripping into her bedroom window, the bloody monster entering her room and landing on firm hooves. It let out a guttural snarl and dove at her, hooves extended, a look of rage carved into her face. With a startled cry, Twilight ducked, narrowly missing the hooves of her would-be assailant and watching as it tumbled to the ground. "Katie!" "Damn it. Screw it," Twilight shouted, catching sight of the filly near her bathroom door. "Run for that window along the edge there. Hurry!" Katie's head turned, her eyes centering on the window she described, a bin of apples resting on a wooden walkway. On the wooden walkway, she bounded along the ramparts as Twilight launched another 2 lives downward, catching 2 afflicted on the stairs, causing them to roll backwards into a third, sending them all to the ground. "Twilight!" Katie shrieked. "What do I do?" "The rope!" "Wheel the basket over!" Twilight shouted, twirling the 5 she had left around her. She watched as the afflicted continued to push their way into her library, her heart thudding a mile a minute. The thought of her having killed another living creature, a pony even, had started to sink in, her stomach giving nigh unbearable heaves. Is what Twilight heard in her snares, the familiar voice of Katie calling out. The 3 afflicted had wrenched in made for the stairs, their glowing eyes fixed on Twilight, as if on instinct. 2 knives launched their way into the chest, the 2 afflicted in front, downing them and temporarily halting the advancement of the third. The one that brought tears to Twilight's eyes. Junebug, Twilight wept, staring toward the blood-soaked fur and face of the mare they called Junebug. Her red eyes were shining in the darkness, her snarls and raspy wheezes filling the air. Her body was adorned with long slash marks and punctures, the result of the afflicted attacking her, but not doing enough damage to kill her. "I am so sorry," Twilight whispered, a knife snapping forward, hurtling toward Junebug. "I am so sorry this happened to you." She closed her eyes as the knife sailed forward, catching Junebug right in the chest, right through the heart that used to be filled with love and tender kindness, replaced by madness and rage. She refused to watch her body fall, but she did listen to its lifeless impact as it struck the hard floor of the library, of her library. She opened her eyes for a moment, her eyes flicking towards the basement door, and her horn gleaming with magic. After 10 seconds, the lantern from the basement floated through the door, covering with the magneted aura of Twilight's magic. She suddenly set it in the middle of the floor and rushed to where panicked-looking Katy waited. "Shield your eye! Shield your eyes, sweetie!" Twilight shouted, igniting the lantern once more with the magic. Katy buried her face in Twilight's fur as the unicorn looked away, her eyes clenched tight. There was a soft click, and then light. The afflicted shrieked as the lantern exploded to a tense light, firing off like flashbang. A thunderous kaboom echoed through the library, with Twilight wasting no time, hoisting Katy up with her magic and placing her on her back. She hoisted herself up and through the window, doing her best to balance herself as she draped herself over the basket, dissipating her magic and letting the knives fall away to the ground below, once again taking on the guise of stealth. She didn't want them to detect her magic. Not anymore. Once the afflicted found them gone, the library abandoned, they'd move on. Or so she hoped. She took a moment to close the window behind her before reaching up with her front hose and began their treacherous journey across the basket system. Below, there had to be at least more than 50 afflicted, all of them surrounding the library. Many were still trying to get into the library, while many others rubbed their eyes, partially blinded by Twilight's flashbang. She made slow, careful movements, the basket swaying in the wind as they slowly crossed the street. Katy clutched onto Twilight, hanging on for dear life as she stared, terrified at the mass running about below. "Luna," Twilight prayed in her mind. "Please, if you're still out there, please don't let them look up. Don't let them look up. Luna, I beg of you, please. Show me mercy. Show me mercy, please. Don't let them look up. Please, for Katy, protect us both with your guidance." One careful movement after another. Tug, a pull, a reach. A tug, a pull, a reach. Over and over until the window building across the street rested no more than 5 feet away. With 2 more heaves, the basket came to rest in the front of the window. As their journey came to an end, Twilight could hear the faint sound of wood moving on wood. She had to repress her wanting to gasp as the window slowly started open, and 2 hard lips gently reached their way out. Katy looked down at Twilight with terrified expression on her face, to which Twilight nodded, reassuring her that everything was okay. Katy looked up, stretching out her toes and being swiftly picked up by the large hooves. She was pulled into the darkness, and for a moment Twilight was left outside, hanging from the basket. She took this moment to look out amongst the darkened town, her thoughts racing a mile a minute, trying to come up with some logical reason as to why they struck at night. Her train of thought was broken, however, as the large hooves once again emerged from outside, out towards Twilight, which the lavender mare pushed herself into. She felt them wrap around her middle and drag her into the pitch blackness of the building. She was held tight as the soft sound of hoofsteps pattered around her, the window shutting quiet behind her quietly. "Tell me," she whispered, tears flowing from her eyes. "Tell me we're okay. Tell me I'm okay. Tell me Katie's safe. Tell me I'm safe." She was squeezed tighter, with two more sets of hoofs settling themselves on her, along with hoofs she recognized as Katie's. "Did we make it?" Twilight whispered, shaking from the sudden loss of adrenaline. "Yup, y'all made it." She had defied the odds and escaped. She had braved the deadly river of death that swarmed beneath her, and saved them both. She sailed them both towards the port in the storm, a refuge of hope, a fortress of comfort, a haven. End of chapter 4.